Well, last night, President Trump indicated he may be considering withdrawing immigration enforcement officials. Here's our correspondent, Joe Inwood.
Even the bitter cold could not quell their anger. Thousands took to the streets of Minnesota, protesting against the shooting of Alex Pretty by federal immigration agents and the raids he was objecting to when he was killed.
I think it was completely senseless. It was murder. He was not threatening. He was not attacking ICE. And I think the government is lying about what they're doing to cover up.
They're killing people in the streets. It needs to stop. Stop now.
When she says ICE, she's referring to Immigration Customs Enforcement. It's their officers you can see here tackling Alex Pretty to the ground. He was an A&E nurse and had a license to carry a firearm. In this footage, which we've slowed, you can see them take what appears to be a gun from his belt before any shots are fired. The federal government previously accused him of brandishing a weapon and threatening their officers. The footage makes it clear he did not have a gun in his hands.
When someone makes the choice to come into an active law enforcement scene, interfere, obstruct, delay, or assault law enforcement officers, and they bring a weapon to do that, that is a choice that individual made.
But that argument has angered some of Donald Trump's traditional allies. They worry about the suggestion that legally carrying a gun can be used to justify you being killed by law enforcement. In a statement, the National Rifle Association said responsible public voices should be awaiting a full investigation, not making generalizations and demonizing law-abiding citizens. While Gun Owners of America said the Second Amendment protects Americans' right to bear arms while protesting, a right the federal government must not infringe upon. For the Democratic governor of Minnesota, this is about much more than just immigration raids.
This is an inflection point, America. If we cannot all agree that the smearing of an American citizen and besmirching everything they stood for and asking us not to believe what we saw, I don't know what else to tell you.
Alex Pretty! Alex Pretty!
Donald Trump has promised to review everything, but that will not be enough for many Minnesotans. They not only want what they see as justice for Alex Pretty, but an end to the immigration raids that brought him to the streets in the first place. Joe Inwood, BBC News.
Well, let's go live to Minneapolis and back to Carl Nasman. He's there outside of the courthouse. And Carl, explain more, because Minnesota's Attorney General is there, isn't he, petitioning on the legality of the ICE presence.
Yeah, this is a significant day in the city in terms of some important legal cases. There are actually two of them at this very courthouse right now. Underway is that argument. As you said, this is state and local leaders asking this surge in immigration officials to simply leave the state, to return back to the levels where they were before 3,000 officers descended on Minnesota. They're saying that this is a matter of state rights. They say that this threatens the sovereignty of Minnesota itself. They say it's dangerous for U.S. citizens living here, and they're claiming that this is politically motivated. They say that the Trump administration is specifically targeting the state of Minnesota because of political reasons, because potentially the leader of this state, Tim Walz, is a Democrat, because of Mayor Fry, who's also a Democrat. They say they're unfairly being targeted. They want these officials out of the state. Of course, the Trump administration in that courtroom is arguing that, look, this is all legal, this is under the federal authority to enforce the country's immigration laws, and that this operation is meant to remove any dangerous criminals from Minnesota. There's a second court case, Matthew, another important one. There's already been a ruling when it comes to the evidence that was gathered in the shooting of Alex Pretty. We're talking about whatever was at the crime scene, and specifically, potentially, any videos that he might have been recording on his phone at the time. There's been a ruling that said any of that evidence needs to be preserved. This is the first hearing where we will hear the Trump administration explaining any ways in which they are preserving that evidence. There's a lot of mistrust here among local authorities and federal authorities. They're worried that some of this evidence could disappear, and they know that at this point, at least, they haven't been allowed to participate in the federal investigation. So those are the two cases playing out here at this courthouse today.